Good afternoon and welcome to Internet Roundup, the rootinest, tootinest internet show in this room.
In the land.
That's Josh and I'm Chuck. We do the Stuff You Should Know podcast and we round up the internet here, two at a time.
Yep.
And the first one we're going to cover here is about President Erdogan of Turkey.
Yes.
And when we weren't sure how to pronounce it, and our video producer ninja Casey said, "Oh, Erdogan, fascist." I love that.
Yeah.
Casey's the real deal.
Oh, Casey is. He's got his finger on the pulse of geopolitics.
Yeah, he's not afraid.
And the reason Casey called Erdogan a fascist and why a lot of people call Erdogan a fascist is because he's doing things like passing blasphemy laws that prevent him from being criticized publicly.
That's right.
Bad enough in Turkey, but it's actually spread to Germany recently, right?
Yeah, I mean, it is going throughout Europe, apparently. There was a TV show, when was this? I guess in March, a late-night TV program, a German comedian, Jan Böhmermann,
nice,
had a poem about Erdogan that was rude and funny and kind of dirty. And they pulled it from the air, basically destroyed it, whitewashed it from existence is how they put it, altogether. And he has had to go under police protection.
So, bad enough.
The comedian.
Bad enough. There's censorship going on in Germany because a German comedian in Germany made fun of a Turkish dictator. Not cool, right?
Yeah.
It gets worse. Apparently, he's being charged with obscenity in Germany for insulting the Turkish dictator.
Yeah, Chancellor Merkel is allowing this to happen.
Right.
Which is startling.
Basically, Chancellor Merkel's whole jam is, this is totally cool. We'll just let the courts decide. Just let the courts decide. What more of a liberal thing can we do than letting the courts decide? It's like, no, this guy shouldn't be charged at all for anything that he's done in Germany. Like, I get if he went to Turkey and did that, well, he's breaking the law there. As awful as that law is, he's breaking the law there in that land.
Yeah.
This is in Germany.
I know.
It's insane.
It is insane. But this is kind of neat. In the UK, there's a publication called The Spectator. And
Spectator takes no guff.
Who is the guy who wrote this, actually? I don't even have that. Do you have it?
No, I don't.
I don't have it, but the writer of this post basically filled everyone in on what's going on and decided to have a contest, a limerick contest, in which you would enter, you would submit your limerick, and he said you could do anything. It's a poetry contest, but he really suggests the limerick.
And the guy's Douglas Murray, by the way, from The Spectator.
Okay, Douglas Murray says, I recommend limericks because almost everything insulting that is worth saying can usually be included within the 5 lines of that beautiful, delicate form.
Yeah.
Which is pretty great.
And he says it doesn't have to be in limerick form. It can be in like something else, like you said.
Yeah.
But the filthier and more offensive about Erdogan, the better. And he's saying like if it's not offensive, it's not going to be in the running for best limerick.
Yeah, he says that once, and then he says, I would like to reiterate, limericks will be excluded from consideration from the top prize if they are A, not obscene, or B, not defamatory.
Yeah, and it's a real thing. Like you can come up with your limerick and send it to theeditor@spectator.co.uk. And the winning poem is going to be announced June 23rd.
Yeah, so if you want to enter, originally he was like, there's no prize.
It's just self-satisfaction's the prize.
But then a reader came along and said, you know what? I'll offer up £1,000 as top prize money.
Yeah. So
you can now win £1,000. You put the subject line, the President Erdogan Offensive Poetry Competition, to, like Josh said, the editor at spectator.co.uk.
Yeah.
And he even wrote his own limerick, which we can't read.
No way.
Because this is...
it's pretty filthy.
It's filthy. It's great.
Not only does it implicate Erdogan, it also brings Merkel into it.
Yeah, and certain sex acts. That's all I'll say.
I don't even know if you can call that sex.
It's an act of... It's a bedroom act. How about that?
I guess.
Although you could... Well, just look it up for yourself, people.
Okay.
Pretty fun. Reddit.
Yeah.
A site that I've never been to.
Oh, really?
Actually, the only time I've ever been to Reddit, literally, is
really?
when we've done our
AMAs.
AMAs.
That's hilarious.
I'm not a Redditor. I don't know. I'm 45 years old.
I'm not a Redditor either, but there's interesting stuff on there sometimes.
I'm sure.
Mm-hmm. Like it's definitely, I imagine Reddit is more enjoyable. At least the front page of Reddit is more enjoyable for people younger than us.
Yeah, I don't get Reddit, I think. When I look at it, it just looks like a bunch of people saying stuff.
But there's the
How
layout
old do
of
I
it
sound right now?
is not, it's not in any sort of fancy manner or anything like that.
Yeah, Casey's laughing at me.
There's a lot of really cool stuff on there. Like all the Today I Learned stuff is pretty interesting.
Never seen
Or
it.
Explain Like I'm 5.
Never heard of it.
Because somebody will ask a question under Explain Like I'm 5, and somebody who is a well-trained professional in that field will come and explain it. And
so that's cool.
Understand. Yeah.
All right. I just thought it was a bunch of people just going,
No.
All right. Good. So Reddit's awesome. And they have something called a transparency report or a warrant canary, basically. This is what they do. They publish this thing, I guess.
In part of their annual report.
Yeah, like spring, they'll publish it for the previous year, which basically says in the previous year, nobody from national security asked us for any information.
Right. They didn't receive. So the 2014 Transparency Report said this. As of January 29th, 2015, Reddit has never received a national security letter, an order under the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act, or any other classified request for user information. If we ever received such a request, we would seek to let the public know it existed.
And
the problem is they can't.
Oh, is that the case?
Yes. When you get a FISA court order to give up your user information,
you have to keep it quiet.
It also comes with a gag order saying you can't tell anybody that you got this order.
Oh, well, this makes more sense now because what happened in the 2015 report is that wording just wasn't there, which was a clear signal without even saying it that they had been asked for information.
Right. In other words, the canary in the coal mine or the warrant canary in Reddit's annual report stopped singing is a way to put it. Really clever.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a really clever way to get around that. And apparently other companies have picked up on it as well, including Apple. Apple had one in one of their initial reports, and then it disappeared 6 months later.
Right.
And I guess some of the larger companies negotiated with the government to at least be able to say that they got one of these orders.
Well, they might as well, because if you're saying we can tell you that we haven't gotten them and we'll just keep our mouth shut if we have, you might as well just be able to, it's just so obvious.
It is, but that's a total workaround loophole that I think the government didn't anticipate.
Dummies.
Pretty clever. My hat's off to Reddit for figuring that one out.
My hat as well. Literally.
Literally.
How about that? Is that it?
Yeah, that's it, man. That's Internet Roundup.
That hour flew by. Thanks for joining us in the studio, and we'll see you next week, right? You gonna be here?
If I'm alive.
Great. We'll see you next week.